had to. Thank you, Dion.
No, no, no.
What's a buffalo?
Buffalo, he drank his right hand. Got to go again.
Good evening, guys. It's a different feel for me being with these legends. But if you don't know, this played 7th team rugby for Grey Bloem. He was more of a runner than a rugby player. His matric results were so cocked that he couldn't actually get into varsity. So he wanted to become a physio. So he went to the army, and then he landed up in an armored car with Rassie Erasmus. And that started an amazing friendship, which has brought us 2 World Cups. He started coaching with the Shimlers at Free State University as the physio, and Rassie was playing for the Cheetahs then.
Yep.
And so their friendship developed and their coaching team developed. He'd never been a head coach before his appointment as the Springbok head coach. He's got a 69% victory rate after 39 matches. Defeated the British Lions and 2 World Cups behind his name. Jacques, I used to call him Niemand. He's now Nina, but
Thank you. Thank you very much. Honored.
And then this other oak, Daniel Johannes. His name's not Dwayne.
Yeah. There's nothing on my passport or anything.
Or you can call him Thor. He went to Hoërskool Nelspruit. He's got 76 caps behind his name. He's a 3 times Currie Cup winner. Once with the Cheetahs, once with the Stormers, and then he helped the Bulls to one of their few Currie Cup wins. He's a 2 times World Cup winner. He was the man of the match in the 2019 final. He's played in Japan, he's played in France, he's played in Ireland. And when the World Cup squad was chosen, he didn't think he was going to be there. Correct?
Correct.
And he has been seen in this coach's box.
You can ask Jock.
So Jacques, start off with you. You've been compared, apparently, to you and Rassie been compared to Gary Kirsten and Paddy Upton, who took the Proteas to highs, took the Indian World Cup side to highs. In Sia's words, as a team, we love you. Not as a coach, but as a person. You talk to me as a person, as a father, a husband, a son. Wherever you go, whoever gets you will be lucky to have you. Tell us a little bit about your coaching style and what makes you, and what does coaching for you?
Yes, I think probably where I'm, the benefit that I have, like Dwayne, we spoke about it after the World Cup. We've been working together for 17 years. So, and it doesn't, and I know, what's your age now? 34, eh?
He's the Madonna of the side.
No, so to put it in perspective, so for 17 years, let's say Dwayne's 37, so for over 30, for 30% of his life, or almost 50% of his life, you've been involved with the person. The same with Sia, and I think I've been fortunate through various ways that I've been coaching some of the players from schoolboy level. So so you learn, you get to know them when they're naughty. We were all naughty. Then you see them develop and they become husbands, and then they become fathers, and then they become these legends of rugby players. But they never got the title. So Dwayne was always Dwayne. You know, he never was Dwayne Vermeulen, the Springbok player. Although the title comes with it, He just never became the title. He just stayed Dwayne, the guy that I met when he was young. How old are you? I think 20, 21. He just stayed the same person, with everything that he's achieved. And you mentioned all the stuff that he's achieved in his career, which is phenomenal. He just stayed the normal guy. So I think that's where I'm lucky. The players, I've known them for a long time. So we can talk straight to each other because of that. And I would probably say that's my style, straight shooter, but through respect that we've earned from each other over years and years and years.
And I think that's important from a SPAR point of view, is respect for the people in your team and understanding that they're not a cashier or whatever. They're a person, and they've got a husband and a wife and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think it's well documented. I don't think there's a lot of other teams that have a massive family environment within the squad, but we have a family environment where the wives and the partners and the kids are welcome. And I always see it like that. I think Dwayne, if you look at his kids, I don't know how many rugby matches he's missed, how many landmarks of the upbringing and the milestones that his kids has reached over the years he's missed because he's sacrificing for the Springboks.
Yeah.
So from our perspective, we feel that now that his kids are a little bit older, they actually deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Their dad has paid his way with his body, with blood, sweat, and tears.
And his ribs.
Yeah, and his ribs.
Your question is so beautiful, Alan, because I was watching John Smith, and he was being interviewed on Sky News before our finale, and it was John Smith and some fella I didn't take notice of from the All Blacks. Excuse my indifference. And the question was, what do you think will make South Africa or New Zealand win the World Cup? And John Smith, the first thing he said was, because number one, you guys know what it means to us at home. It is our unifier and it has put us in a good mood. But more importantly, he said exactly what you were saying, in that you've spent 2 World Cups together. So you've gone from being young men who are bachelors, you've married your wives, you've had kids, and you're basically in this bubble where you've built this tribe of proud men with their wives and their families. And that's basically what's going to make you win the World Cup. When now you've lost your coaching power because they're on the field, these naughty young men that you know who are now husbands and fathers, how do you let go of your coaching before we come to D? How do you then let go and say, all trust is in them, I've done what I can, which I guess is a lesson for leadership at SPAR, to trust.
Yeah, yes. For me, it was quite easy because you built a relationship with them over years. They've never dropped you, and because of that, somebody asked me the other day, was I nervous in the final? And I said no, I wasn't nervous the last 10 minutes because over or I was nervous, but you don't. The moment you start fearing or stuff like that, it's almost like. You get emotional, but it gives you tunnel vision. So the thing is to try and stay calm and get a high view of everything. But because they have done it so many times, I must say this squad has got an amazing ability to write their own destiny and their own. They created their own reality, over time. If you think when we started back in 2018, they lost 57-0. They were ranked 7th in the world. There's no way they'll win a World Cup. But that was the script that life written to them. And even now, when we spoke about Dwayne, I mean, where he comes from, when he joined us, he came from the Pumas. He didn't go the traditional route. He had to fight and to get to what he wanted. All the injuries that he went through. Probably was one of the most patient persons to get into the Springboks squad. So I think the moral of the story is, over time they've written their own reality. Mapim, Sia, I think where they come from. I mean, if that's the script that life hands you, Not a lot of people have the guts to go, listen, this is not my script. I'm gonna write my own movie, and I'm gonna create my own reality. So I think if you look at the squad, and that's why it's quite easy. If you have men like that within a squad, within the Springboks, that are willing to write their own destiny and to write their own reality, I mean, it's easy to hand it over because they've done it before.
Dwayne?
Yes.
Hoërskool Nelspruit. Not
Correct.
one of your traditional schools. And apparently you were told, rugby won't take you anywhere.
Correct.
You played Cravenweek, didn't make SA schools. Tell us a little bit about from there to Pumas, Cheetahs, and how did you get from SAS or school to provincial rugby? Because my next question is, schools rugby is huge in South Africa, but 99% of the Oaks who play school rugby don't carry on with rugby. And what's the advice for an ambitious young rugby player?
Okay, great. So,
Start
to
with
answer
you.
the first questions, I almost thought you were going to say, how did it go till when you made your first Springbok debut? Because that was pretty late. I made my Springbok debut at 26, and a lot of the youngsters nowadays, well, we've got so much talent in this country, it's ridiculous. So the guys coming through the ranks, it's amazing to see youngsters getting the opportunity. Like I said, like a Kanan Moody, he only turned 21 on our victory tour in East London. So everyone was really tired, but we stayed up to sing happy birthday to Kanan. So it's a nice thing, and you see youngsters coming through, and that's really special. But my road was obviously a little bit different, as every single guy out there has got a different road. But I wasn't told at school, but it was when I was in school, but not at school by a teacher or someone. It was actually, it was a family member that said, listen, you got to go study because rugby won't take you anywhere. And I thought, yes, as a young kid running after a ball, you're 4 years old, you kick a ball, and that's the only thing you worry about when you're out in the garden. And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a rugby player. And that day I just said, listen, well, I'm going to show you what I can be. And obviously didn't play SA schools, didn't play SA under 21s, didn't play SA.
Jacques was coach then, eh?
No, you would have played there.
Yeah, so I didn't play SA under 19s, SA under 21s and things like that, but I got the opportunity at the Pumas. So first of all, went to the Lions, got a bursary, played Lions under 19s, didn't make the squad there, and I started playing for the varsity. So it was RAE in the transition to UJ. So a lot of guys can't remember RAE.
It's okay. They don't have to. We know it as UJ now. Eh?
Yeah, it's UJ. So I didn't make the team there. So obviously things happen in life, but I was still determined to become a rugby player. And I got the opportunity with the Pumas, the senior squad. And they said they were playing this game against the Falcons. There was a guy who played for the Falcons, Piet Krause. He had a blue scrum cap. And I think he played for the Bulls before, way back. And the coach said, you see that guy? So you run all the lines he ran on the field, like the shortest route. But when you get to the breakdown, you get there first and you steal the ball. So I played off the bench, and I think I played 40 minutes, and I got 7 turnovers against Piet Krause. And I thought, Jesus, okay, that's nice. And then obviously got the opportunity to play for the Pumas. Played a couple of years there. Played against the Cheetahs in 2006. And then Jacques and Rassi, they were there, and Rassi gave me a call. I actually had a good game against the Cheetahs. It was good fun. And then Rassi gave me a call and he said, listen, do you want do you want to play Super Rugby? Because obviously you want to take the next step. And I said, yeah, well, I'll jump at it. I'll jump at the opportunity. And got to the Cheetahs, and I think Jock knows the story actually better than I do. So I got to the Cheetahs, my first training session, and I don't know the rugby lingo at the Cheetahs. So I fell to the ground, but I didn't. Nowadays you call it recoil, so you have to be on your stomach and you have to push the ball back. And then Rassie shouted from the side and said, "There's no recoil, 400s." And I just started running, and I had no clue where to go, but I just started running. And then after my second one, Jock saw me breathing, but heavily breathing around the field, and he said, "No, come back. I said, "Listen, we know you're okay. Also, you don't know the lingo, so it's okay, but welcome to the Cheetahs." And so then when Rassie and Jock moved to Western Province, and I just thought, oh, you know what, I see something, or they saw something in me. So the best thing is what I can do is follow them and support them.
It's been a beautiful relationship between the
Exactly.
three of you.
Exactly. So I just thought, if you,
Just read between the lines.
Well, the
if you want to be
lines-
successful.
The lines are people follow their leaders and they leave their bosses when they leave employment, right? So, yeah,
Yeah, so, you pick up quite a lot of things.
I got you.
Some bald spots as well. But
I got you.
Thanks, Daniel, Johannes. Jacques, Rassie speak about this, the schools rugby and everything, and the mix of this, it says the squad this year in terms of traditional schools versus average schools or not so well known schools was quite a wide mix in terms of how many people had been to different schools. But Rassie speaks about his elite player development group, and it's got to be something about that. Just tell us about this group, because you've been involved with that for a long time.
Yeah, so the elite player, it's called the EPD program, so it's elite player pathway, and it's basically 4 stages. And he started that in, I think it was 2014, we started that. I was a high performance manager at SA Rugby, and he was the general manager of SA Rugby. And basically, in short, EPD 1 was under 15, under 16, and then just before Grand Coma, or after Grand Coma, we would select 75 players, so five players per position. And then EPD 2 was under 17 to under 18, and then we would select 45 players, A and a B side SA schools, that will play then a mini tournament against France, Wales, England, and I think Italy. And then phase 3 was junior Springboks, and then phase 4 was junior Springboks. Then there was academies. We had Saru academies back then, but that fell away. So that was the elite player pathway. And a lot of the guys that's in the mix now actually came through that program. A fair bit of them. And it's probably a vision from Rassie. When we got to SA Rugby, there was let's call it the professional arm, which was Sevens and the Springboks. And then there was development. That was under 21 or junior Springboks and under. But Rassie restructured everything, and it was one thing. We worked, if you worked for the Springboks, you worked for the EPD program for the under 15s as well. And that actually got us, or got me, the opportunity to coach guys at under 15 level. So Damien Willemse, I've coached.
There are a number of them who've come through.
Yeah. A lot of them has come through that process. So basically, in short terms, there was a divide. There was the professional and the development side within the rugby department. And then Rassie just restructured it, and it was just one pathway. And the coaches that was involved with the Springboks, they didn't just coach at the Springboks. You coached women's, you coached the women's sevens, you coached the under 15 boys, you coached the under 17 boys. So everybody got involved everywhere.
Okay. And coaching the coaches?
Russie's got we've got a program running there, which I think it's starting. It's basically to accelerate coaches coming through the system, and I think SA Rugby currently is doing a magnificent job in terms of that. In the guys, if you look at a guy like Dion, if you look at Sticks, if you look at those guys coming through, there's some quality coaches coming through. Dwayne probably stepping into it now. So I think, there's been some good work done there.
Question for both of you.
I've just said no pressure.
No
I'm
pressure.
like, it's more than a hint. There's, it's a directive.
I think the elephant in the room is Rassie. Just first of all, who was pulling the strings, or do you both pull the strings? And just tell us a little bit about Rassie, because he's an enigma. I mean, he's just such an amazing person.
Yeah, so Russ for me, I know him since 1991. So we know each other for a long time. And who pulls the strings? I think that's probably, which maybe from the outside, it looks a little bit weird. Because there's titles like a head coach title and a director of rugby title. But director of rugby for us at the Springboks, or head coach for us at the Springboks, doesn't necessarily mean the same as what a head coach would do for Ireland or for it's different for us. So I don't think there's another head coach currently in world rugby that will run a defense department. He's more a high view. He's not microscopic in the game. So how myself and Rassie operate, and Dwayne will probably from a player perspective add more to that. If I can maybe put it like this: everything on the field is my responsibility. Everything off the field is his responsibility. So succession planning. So we have a responsibility matrix. So succession planning is his responsibility, but I would give input. The game plan, developing game tactics or strategies will be my responsibility, but he will give input. So I think there's not a line in our responsibility matrix where the one isn't responsible and the other one gives input. So, and I think it probably, I'm not sure if it will work at other organizations, but because we know each other for such a long time.
I think it's a unique relationship.
Yeah, so that's why, and everybody's got egos and self-interest and stuff like that, but I think in our environment, between myself and him, there's never been an incident where, look, do we sometimes disagree? Yes, we do. But there's never been an incident where we will go, I told you so.
Yeah.
If we make it, we will discuss and not argue, but discuss things intensely. And then, but once we get to, listen, we're going to go down this route, then we go down that route, and there will not be finger pointing or anything like that.
And Dwayne? I mean,
Well,
tell us about the two of them.
they work well
And
together.
how many
And he's not a player.
F-bombs
He's not
and how many F-bombs are landed when they disagree? I mean, we've all seen Chasing the Sun, right? And we know they're currently producing Chasing the Sun too. I've never heard a squad be so like calm with F-bombs from the leader. So as you're telling us your experience of their relationship, please like get real with us on how passionate their disagreements can get.
You don't want an example. I'm sorry.
I believe you.
I can't do that. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, Shark and Rassie, they're like a well-oiled machine. The nice thing is they also give the players, opportunity to add your input. So it's if they talk game plan for the upcoming game, it's coaches driven, but it's also players driven. Everyone buys into a thing. Well, it's not like they're selling a thing and say, listen, well, you gotta buy it or you lose it. So everyone's got a little bit of input in that, and then we add a little bit of spice to everything, just to get the perfect pot.
Make it a boy, mooi potjie.
Yeah, lekker potjie. No, it's they. I can talk for hours about the two of them. So like we said, it's been 17 years, and I had the privilege of taking every step of the way with them, and they like, it was this, if you say it, in the beginning it's a coach, and then it becomes a little bit more than a coach. Then it becomes a brother figure, and then, or a father. Ooh,
To the booker.
do you want a beer?
Great show, this. Oh, no problem.
Spillage.
Liyabona.
Cheers.
Cheers, thanks.
Liyabona. Liyabona. Cela glass yam champagne, please.
Oh. Cheers.
This is a first for me.
We'll
Dwayne's
just wait-
like, do you want a beer? I'm
just
like,
wait
no, I don't want
for
to burp on
Anati's
stage.
champagne.
I'm like, I don't want to burp on stage. I'll wait for my champagne. Thank you, Liyabona.
Okay, let's move to, I was going to talk about leadership things, but let's move to test day, test week, the World Cup final. On test day, I'll wake up nervous. I'll normally go have a game of golf or a game of squash. Then I'll go and buy some
There we
make.
go.
Oh, what a gentleman. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Can we all just drink to the booker?
Left hand, apparently. Left hand, apparently.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Jacques was reprimanding Dwayne because apparently he took a shooter with the right hand and he went, young man, was that a buffalo? And I was like, what's a buffalo? What's a buffalo?
So, thing is, you got to drink with your left hand from Monday to Saturday, 12 p.m., like midnight. And then it changes over. So Sunday, it's your right hand. So it's just a little bit of a thing when, after a game, when the guys, have a couple of beers,
And yellow is gesê.
and it gets past
Ja, en
midnight.
yellow is gesê.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets past midnight, you can catch a few guys, and then you make them down again.
Oh, fines kind of extended meeting.
Yes.
An extended fines
Oh,
meeting.
it gets
I
pretty.
must say they were very good.
It's Sunday
they?
today.
No.
Okay, so my preparation is game of golf, bit of squash, very nervous. Go and make sure I've got beers, got biltong, got chips and things like that. Have a little kip, and then we either go into friends or friends are coming to us. If they're coming to us, we light a fire, blah, 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 and we're ready. And then we've got to be ready like 15 minutes before the match starts. Got to listen to Nick Mallet and Skalkberger, and then we get there and we sing the anthem, and then we look at you and the referee and all of that sort of thing. What happens to you guys? You wake up on test day. How do you manage? What happens to the side on the day? Because it's a long day, particularly in France.
I'll go from a management point of view, and then he can slot in from a player point of view. So,
And management.
yeah, on a match day, we've got a specific program that starts 5 hours before kickoff. So it doesn't matter if the kickoff is at 3 or the kickoff is at 7 or 5 or 9. So basically, our day starts 5 hours before, and then it's a set routine that we follow for every single test match.
What
So
is
it
that
stays-
set routine?
It starts with mobility. There might be a little bit of a small meeting, a team meeting, just small, and then it's a split where the forwards will go and they will do their just touch-ups and go through their detail, almost like in a hall like this. They will walk through their stuff. The backs will do the same. And then after that, then it's strapping those details, I don't know. And then we have a pre-match meal, which is probably 2.5 hours before the match.
And what happens with that meal? I mean, Jacques wants a burger.
No. Very bland, same stuff, pasta. I don't even know what's there. I don't go. It's normally not nice food.
Pre-match is spaghetti bolognese.
Spaghetti bolognese, stuff like that. So I carb stuff. The dietitians will sort that out, and the chefs. And then it's a team. And then we have a team talk. The team talk. This World Cup was done at the hotel, but in Japan it was done at the field. And it's purely a logistics thing. We did the first two at the field at the stadium, but it was just too rushed. There wasn't enough time, and then we changed around. So basically that's how it is, and then the whole day. So it's a pretty much set thing, Yeah. And from a player point of view, I don't know, how do they make it shorter?
Well, usually you try to sleep in, but you wake up. I can't sleep in because my back hurts, and then, well, when you wake up, you take some sort of pain medication just to get through the day, and then
You're 38.
yeah. So this is literally not a joke. This is me in the morning of match day. So I take some heavy stuff, and
Thank you for not naming the heavy stuff.
yeah.
People were about to call their doctors. So, Dwayne said, please prescribe immediately.
So yeah, and then you have coffee and you just move around, and I don't want to stay in bed. So because there is still time built into the program in the afternoon when you can have like a 2-hour nap or something like that. So, and then obviously we go through the same routine: the mobility, the meetings, and the line-out stuff. The backs just hit a tennis ball.
That's fun.
So they don't really do anything. The forwards really work. We walk through
The disrespect on the
line-outs.
stage.
And yeah, but it's your jock knows. So we walk through lineouts, and then it is more lineouts, and then it is more lineouts. So it gets pretty long, those little meetings. But yeah, then the rest of it is exactly the same what Jock said. And you get on the bus and you see some guys listening to the weirdest music ever, and then I don't even have to wear headphones because you can hear it in the bus. So it's everyone's got their own music and own little thing, and until they get to the change room, it's boots on, switch on, and there you go.
Tell us a little about Erkes Snyman, because he sounds like a very different actor.
Or he send you a song
Yeah, no, he's
before the game.
No,
What
he's
song did he sing?
he's a heavy metal fanatic. Worse than that. So he's a little bit. You can just have a look at him. Just look at him. No, he's cut from a different cloth.
I can imagine. And I was confessing to Jacques and Dwayne that I didn't watch the finale, the final match. My nerves couldn't take it. So yeah, I was performing at Miss World South Africa, so I got home just before the game, and my entire neighborhood was screaming, and we had fireworks. We got permission from the municipality and all of that. Psychologically, I don't know how you go through that day. But a question I want to repeat to Dwayne, which I asked him backstage. I said, Dwayne, how painful is victory?
Do you want the same answer?
Whatever you want to tell our audience.
Yeah, so my answer was it's really painful, but it's painful.
Really was a different word.
Yes, it's
F-bomb.
chasing the
It's
sun.
F-bomb.
It's
Painful.
chasing the sun.
Chasing the sun.
You see, chasing the sun painful. No, yeah, but on my liver. So
And that's what he said.
it's pretty tough, but it's been a good ride.
What was it like coming back to the love? Because I think the one thing Alan has emphasized, and Jacques and you, is that we truly needed it as a nation, and selfishly so. We've won enough, but we really wanted this one. That love where you couldn't get out of the airport for hours. And then we saw the video of you guys on the plane, and we were like, just don't be too tired to come to us. Just don't be too tired to come to us. I can imagine being in that bubble and then just coming home to the euphoria. What was touching down in South Africa like this time round? Because the previous one, as you said in Chasing the Sun, you weren't even expecting that victory. This was the victory that you and your partner and your team had envisaged. But now that the previous victory was already here. So now you've got South Africans wanting more and more and more. And you gave it to us. Bless you, sir. And you gave it to us. I was raised well. What does our love feel like?
Shoo. Just from my side, how I experienced it, it was an emotional roller coaster for 3 weeks. Especially more, it was actually for both of us, because the build up to the final was, every day was your last. It's your last Monday training. It's your last Tuesday training with the Springboks now. So it's your last captains, and then you stand there and you stand on the field and you try to reflect, and so you see some of the guys walk past you and they just tap you on the back and they like, well, we'll be there tomorrow. And then you play the game, and then you win by 1 point.
3 times in a row. Let's not minimize our psychological trauma. 3 times in a row, not just once, not just twice. Like, it was a hat trick.
Exactly. And then everyone's emotional and everyone's crying, and you've never seen 33 grown men or more than that cry on a rugby field and hugging each other. It looked, if you look at out of a different eye, it's probably pretty weird.
It's rainbow. It's the LGBTIQ community.
But
Because they're bum squeezers as well as you walk past. Good one, Lighty.
exactly. And then coming home and you get off the plane and there were millions and millions of people greeting us at the airport, and you see these faces and the signs and the energy, and you stepping off the plane and you are tired and your ears and everything, but it was so special. And then you jump on the bus and you see the excitement and people running out of nowhere, and not just in the towns and the city, but it's everywhere. It was just, it was spectacular. But then again, you sit on that bus, and I think I was somewhere in Cape Town. I just looked up, and my wife asked me what's going on, so she took my glasses off, and there's some more tears. And it's a weird thing. When you get older in life, you get really emotional. But I'm struggling with that now.
So while we're still on the rugby field, 2 questions. Was the Cheslin-Colby charge down planned?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
We spoke about it a little bit. So we have this analyst guy that we got in, a guy called Paddy. So he's an Irish guy. So Paddy made it his mission. So he took, I don't know how many kicks for poles of the kickers. So I mentioned everybody knows about the charge down in the French game. But the Muanga miss was just as big in the final. And if you look at that one, he missed the ball to the right, and he saw Cheslin in his eye line. So the thing is not actually to go for the charge down. If you get it, great. But it's just so that when the kicker approaches the ball, he see this figure coming from the side. So they would literally, like Richie Muanga has a different style to Ramos, who kicks for France. So Richie has this thing, he moves his hands first, and then he does his approach. So they would literally time it and say, listen, from when he starts moving his hands till his approach, it's probably going to take 0.8 seconds. So Cheslin, you only, once he gives his first step, you can go over the try line for the charge down. But you can start running 5 meters before the try line. You can get a run start, So they would literally measure and say, it's going to take 0.8 or let's say a second. You must start 3 meters behind the try line. So whenever he does that with his hands, you can start your run up, and your timing will probably be fairly okay.
Is that going to start a new tradition of people doing charge down?
That's the amount of detail that they will go into that. So it was between Cheslin and Paddy. And they will even measure when the scrum half, when they go for charge downs, the forwards for the scrum halves when they want a box kick. The moment the scrum half puts the ball on the toe of, he lifts the ball up, he's going to kick it within a second. So you standing there for a charge down, you almost go in your head, 1001, 1002, and then you go. Yeah.
And then you got to see France Malherbe practicing that.
They actually get a bottle of brandy for every charge down they get.
I would want like a 14-year-old bottle for that kind of victory, no?
Okay, second question. Mark, in your own 25, you're under pressure, we're losing, and you take a scrum.
Yeah. France
Whose
has...
decision was it?
I'll tell you, the first decision was, because the French have this weird kicking game where they kick the ball long, and they don't put themselves on side. I'm not going to go technical, but they don't put their team on side. They wait for you to put them on side. So we actually started making a joke and say, what happens if you just catch the ball and just stand still? So you don't put them on side, and the rest of your team just walks back to get behind the ball. They can't move. They must just stand there until everybody's on side, and then we start playing. And then Rassie came up. He said, I wonder if you mark the ball inside your 22, can you take a scrum? So we weren't sure. So he got on a call to Paper. Paper went through the law book, and he said, yeah, you can take a scrum. So we said, listen, in the first, when we played France in 2022 in Marseille, we got one scrum in the whole game. So we said, listen, we need to get more scrums. How are we going to get more scrums?
And
that
you
was
had
one
a
way.
brilliant scrum just before that.
Yeah, so that was the reason. So initially it started as a joke, in the fact that because they will have the Pont lining himself up, putting pressure on you if you put him on side. So he just stays upfield, you know. So it was this joke, started as a joke, but then it became, listen, let's try and use it to our advantage. And we wanted
I don't think
to
the English have hated us more, right? I mean, we had a victory against the French, but I don't think they hated us more for outsmarting the rules of the game more than that match. It, as you were saying, Alan, like, why would you choose that move at that moment where nations don't want us to win? I mean, Aquaman was against us in the finale. Do you know what I mean? He was there in his All Blacks. And it would, I guess what we don't understand is how much of the psychology that you're explaining, the science, the technicality, do you remember when you're on the field and you're carrying an entire nation?
Well, if you forget it, you just have to look up and you'll see some lights flickering. And then you'll see Valley running from the back. It's white, it's white. So then you kind of know what to do next.
Grant, I wanted to ask, as you've captained the Springboks and you've obviously got a bunch of leaders on the field, how much decision making do you have on the field like that?
Well, as players or the coaches, we've got this. It's like our pressure points, and so everywhere in the game there's we call it a pressure point. So if it's scrum, let's say lineouts, the kicking, the defense, the attack, everything. There's a guy for that. So each person has his specific role. And so you've got your obviously also your big ball carriers, or the guys who get you on the front foot, and all those guys gets their little point for the game, and that's where they must make sure whenever his department is not firing, if he runs on, or when we get together, he'll say, "Listen, guys, which is my department was always the defense."
17 years.
Yeah. So
Springbok coach.
17 years.
so then, then I will say, listen, the guys are getting too much momentum, or listen, we can't play in our half. We gotta get out of our half. And then you start speaking to a Andre or a Mani and say, listen, but just put us that side, and then we can, the defense will be a little bit different, or things like that. So you'll see Bongi speaking in huddles, you'll see Eben speaking, you'll see Akitsi speaking, and things like that. And Sia was the only guy who's here to manage the referee, because that's probably the biggest job out of everything. and and everyone played their part. So it's actually a nice thing
It's
because
quite nice also from a SPAR point of view as well as giving that responsibility to your manager and saying, you the man, make the call, make it work.
well, that's the thing, and everyone's got a voice. So it's nice when you look at that. Everyone works together, but it's quick. It's a simple decision. It's a small little thing that you can change that makes a hell of a difference at the end.
Okay, Siolo spoke earlier about the power of the tribe, and we know at SPAR we've got a statement of, at SPAR we talk about a team, a family of entrepreneurs who with passion strive towards excellence within the communities we serve. Two powerful statements from a SPAR point of view. How does that fit into and I'm sure it does, being stronger together, better together, fit into the Springbok rugby mold?
Yes, I would say massively, especially this group. And sometimes you coach teams, and I often said it in a huddle. I said, listen, sometimes you don't know how fortunate you are to be with this group now until you're out of it. Because sometimes you're in brilliant teams, and then only when you leave that team, you realize how good that team was. But this specific group...
Even through difficult times.
Yeah. So this specific group, I would say the strength was definitely... the process that we follow from a management point of view is, first thing, you have to get the right people. Not necessarily always the best people, but the right people. The people that will understand, like, let's say, Kobus Reinach or Mani Libbok, they played in the quarterfinal, beat France. They played in the semi-final, beat England. And then when we decided to go with a 7-1 tactic, they were good enough to play in a World Cup final and probably good enough to win a World Cup final. But because we strategically felt that a 7-1 will give us a better chance against New Zealand, they went from starting to not even in the team. And Andre and Faf came in. It's special people that are willing to put the tribe first, if I can put it like that. Because everybody wants to play in the World Cup final. Everybody wants to be there. So I would probably say that is the strength of this team. That they were willing to sacrifice for the greater good. And at the end of the day, if you do that, everybody eats. And I think Sia mentioned it in a press conference one day. When they write there 2023, they don't write Sia Kolisi or they don't write Kobus Reinach. They write South Africa there. Yeah. So that's the thing. I think what this group got right. We got the right people. They were willing to do that. We rotated, so we didn't pick. We rotated a lot. Then if you get the right people, you got to get them to work together. And like Dwayne said, he just explained now how the leadership in a game works together. Then they got to have a work ethic. They got to really work hard, which they did. Then we try to measure the effort and give them proper feedback on the effort that they put in, not necessarily
when
the
you
result.
say feedback, praise or criticism?
Yeah, a little bit of both, praise and criticism. You measure the effort and give feedback on that, not on the result of it.
Yeah.
So we didn't too much go into win or lose or just give, listen, this is where you are currently and this is where we think you should work on. And then you got to evolve with the guys. Because as you give that, you get the right people, and you go through that process, there will be evolution within your squad. Yeah. And then when evolution sometimes happen, it starts again with getting the right people.
New leaders start coming
So you get the right people again. But sometimes some players didn't want to evolve. And they then became the wrong people. They weren't the right people then anymore. But
I would never have seen Bongi as a captain of the Springbok side. But he did.
He was phenomenal. Didn't he force the kick and he put him under pressure and he's like, your country needs you, and he just walked away. Pollard.
No, no, I think that was our process, yeah. And this specific group, they got it. Not a lot of people get it, I think.
Dwayne, being part of the tribe?
Yeah, I think Jock actually technically said everything right. Yeah, I think from my perspective, it's you know, he says I was once one of those guys who got myself on the wrong side. I was in the squad in 2012 and went to 2015, and then after that I wasn't in the squad. I wasn't selected, but
I
that was
thought that
also
was injury.
say again.
I thought that was injury.
No. No, I just went to play abroad a little bit.
But naughty.
No, nothing about that.
Thank you for coming home. I need to say that.
But the thing is just, and that was the difficult times where the guys lost 52, against New Zealand and things like that. And then you speak to some of the guys and they say, listen, it's difficult. We don't know what to do. And it's difficult because you're outside the squad. You can't do anything about it. And you miss the guys and you really want to do something, but you can't. And when I got the opportunity again, you want to take it with both hands, and that's the biggest thing. Once you're there, and you never realize when it really ends.
Yeah.
So once you're there, you take it with both hands, and I think that was our thing. Well, it was especially mine this year. You want to finish on a high, and you want to on your own terms and everything like that. So it is such a special thing when you have guys who are willing to give their everything, the coaches, to a squad and delegate and say, listen, this is what we want, and the buy-in from everyone is phenomenal. And those guys will draw the line in their sand, and that was my thing way back, and that's where you defend, your family, your country, wherever you come from. Doesn't matter where you come from. That's the biggest thing for us. So, like you say, stronger together. That's
Very special.
that's our thing.
Very super. Yeah. Guys, let's look forward. We've got 2024 coming. Tough year for us at SPAR. Interesting year for you guys. Dwayne, announced your retirement last week. We've seen you in the coach's box. I've read rumors about Stormers. I've read rumors about coaching. I've read rumors about you wanting to just be a father and a husband. What's happening?
He'll be a great coach. He'll be a brilliant coach.
I think can I scratch my head a bit on this one?
Shark something, rather.
Yeah, at this very moment, I've played the game for 19 years, and you've learned so much over the years, and you've worked with different coaches.
Because rugby won't take you anywhere. Eh?
Exactly.
Where
Can you
is
believe
that
it?
family member? I wanted to ask you, so what happens at family meetings when that family member's in the room? And, do you humble yourself and say, thank you for pushing me? Or is that family member who said rugby won't take you anywhere, are they the humble ones? I wanted to ask you earlier on so what are family gatherings like with the guy who's not wearing the green and gold?
Well,
I assumed it was a guy. My
Yes.
humble apologies.
yes, it was. But one thing, I will never change. I will always be the same person. So.
So he's staying in rugby and he's coaching and he's considering all the options to answer your question, Adam.
Oh, damn it.
He's such a politician. He's answered all of them without
All of
saying
them.
Oh, she got me there.
Completely.
Jock, Leinster, Munster, Ireland.
Yeah.
You guys have been there before. Rassie pulled you back. Your wife sitting there. She loved it there. Your kids loved it there. Your kids are going to stay in South Africa. You going back there. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, look, it's a decision I made early on. I think it was in March, April. And I was open and honest with the players, and I just need a break from international rugby.
Operative word break.
Yeah,
Not
break,
forever.
just a break.
Operative word break, not forever. Thank you for that.
No, the thing of international rugby is it's only 13 test matches, but I think this specific year I was out of Cape Town where I live. I was out for five months and 1 day. So the duration that you're away from families and friends are just a long period in one stretch. Where at club, it's more rugby. It's 38 games or 40 games or sometimes more. But it's every second week you're away. So I just need a little bit of a break. I think as a coach or anything, even as a player, to be successful, the currency that we pay in is time, and there's only 24 hours in a day. So sometimes if you need more time, your son says, listen, or my daughter will come, Dad, come and watch a netball game. Yeah, sorry, I can't. I need to sit this 2 hours. I need to analyze.
You've got to do that.
So you take time from your family, and they give it to you because they love you. But it comes at it's like any bank, there's only so much. And then you have to put back. So that's basically the idea, and I made that in March, April.
And I think that's a very special message to our SPAR retailers, because they work so hard.
Yep.
But they've got to find that balance of spending time with their family as well.
Yeah, because in essence that's why you do it.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Going to Leinster, I can't see myself coaching against the Box. Definitely not.
Please
currently.
don't.
No, I won't. I can't.
I don't want to see you and Rusty coaching against each other.
No.
Guys, I think we're running out of time. Some quick questions. Jacques,
Quick fire.
Dwayne, there's one oak that you want to line up and tackle flat out. Who's he?
Dead or alive, still playing or retired? May I add?
No. Johnny Sexton.
Who?
Johnny Sexton.
I didn't expect that one.
I thought it would be Farrell.
I just never had the opportunity. He's always hiding somewhere.
Toughest opponent?
I would say Karen Reid from New Zealand.
You've got lots of highlights in your career. Your biggest lowlight? I know what it's going to be.
Okay, you tell me and I'll say it.
That loss against the All Blacks.
No, I would say not playing in the British and Irish Lions competition.
Jacques, Eddie Jones.
Don't know that. I actually don't know that well.
Tackle.
Okay, the Proteas setting up in India. They've been in the World Cup cricket final so many times. They've choked, lost, whatever. It's massive. Just imagine if we can win the World Cup rugby and the World Cup cricket in 1 year. What advice would you give to our Proteas in India right now?
I would say.
You didn't know this was coming.
I would say that don't be conservative. Go for it.
Pull the trigger.
Yeah, pull the trigger. Yeah, go for
That's
it.
what I want to say.
Yeah.
I would also say the same thing.
May I ask one question on behalf of the ladies? I promised that I would ask Dwayne this question. Cauliflower ears, are they hard or soft?
Very cringy, man.
They're gorgeous. That's all I can say, ladies. Please give our guests a warm round of applause.
I'm not as good as that ski,
Are we time out? Time out. Okay.
Time out. Thank you so
No
much.
injury, no injury time?